Hey folks, John here. Thank you for tuning in and welcome back once again to This World, My Take, what the headlines meet the real world. How you guys doing? I hope you're having a beautiful weekend with your family and your loved ones. And I just want to say, please do help the channel grow. I see that we are growing gradually, and I do believe that with your help, hit that subscribe button, smash that like. We can hit the heights of which we have in mind. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it if you can help me out. Let me adjust a few things here. So guys, it seems as if, ladies and gentlemen, the Trump administration actually thinks that they are the emperor of the world. Ever since Donald Trump came into power, he has been using the power from the White House to reach far across the U.S.A. borders. Now, I know that is what wannabe dictators always dream of and they want to achieve. But you might be asking me, but John, why you say that? There's a recent article which I came across, and I want us to talk about this whole U.S.-Mexican relationship. Ever since Donald Trump came into the White House, that relationship has been strained to its limit, to its maximum. And I do like the way the president of Mexico is actually handling things. She seems to be the cooler person with a more calm and leadership-like mindset. Now, guys, there's this article that is on CNBC, and it's about the transportation sector. I want to talk about transportation, and the news that I'm reading is the U.S. threatens Mexican airline flights over cargo competition issues. Now, you might be asking yourself, they have been threatening Mexico with tariffs. The Trump administration has threatened Mexico with all sorts of things, and you would think that would be the end. But we have gotten to the level where they are starting to threaten Mexico in the sector of transportation. Now, I don't know if Donald Trump and his hoodlums think that they actually do control the world, because countries have the sovereign right to decide on what is actually good for its own national territory. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read from this article which I want us to talk about. And the article says thus: the Trump administration said on Saturday it is taking a series of actions against Mexico, again, right after announcing that they were going to slap Mexico with a 30% interest rate. It's crazy. Against Mexico over Mexican's government decision to rescind some flight slots for U.S. carriers and force U.S. cargo carriers to relocate operations in Mexico City. Ladies and gentlemen, a president is voted in his own country. He is not supposed to overreach and try to dictate and tell people what to do in their own sovereign nations. Remember, a couple of days ago, it was the situation of Brazil, which we are going to talk about shortly. And this man is trying to put actions again. And you all know the best form of action. We're going to put tariffs on some of your goods coming over here. But let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. The U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said in a statement that the department could disapprove flight requests from Mexico if the government fails to address U.S. concerns over decisions made in 2022 and 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, as a leader of any country, it is your duty to do what you think is good for your people in your country. Imagine that the Mexican president tried to do the same thing, trying to sanction the American government for some flight. Like, just imagine if the tables were turned and it was the Mexican government trying to do something to the American government. Do you know what will happen? All hell will break loose. All politicians in Congress will go crazy, especially those in the Republican GOP MAGA base. They will lose their shit over this. But I don't see why this administration thinks that it is okay to tell the government what they can do and what they cannot do. Mexico City is part of Mexico. The government has the right to decide whatever it wants to do with its own airspace. So all of this is crazy. Let's keep reading, ladies and gentlemen. The department is also proposing to withdraw antitrust immunity from the Delta Airlines joint venture and Aeromexico to address competitive issues in the market. Now, Delta Airlines and Aeromexico are two giants when it comes to North American airlines and companies. And this corporation that was in place, the Trump administration is threatening to take it off. You want to know why? And this is because, let me continue, ladies and gentlemen. Mexico is the most popular international destination amongst U.S. airlines travelers. Yes, and this is facts. A whole lot of airline travelers go between the countries, back and forth. That friendship that used to exist. It seems as if this administration is actually trying to put an end to that. Delta said if the U.S. Department of Transportation withdraws approval, it would cause significant harm to the consumers traveling between the U.S. and Mexico, as well as U.S. jobs, communities, and trans-border competition. Ladies and gentlemen, ever since this administration came into office, it really doesn't care who it hurts. If it's supposed to help its own buddies, its friends, the billionaires who put Trump into office, they could care less, exactly. But this, for Delta to come out and tell the administration that, look, this is what is going to happen if you push through with this whole thing. Do you think that the Trump administration is going to pay attention and listen? I doubt that, ladies and gentlemen. The Transportation Department said that Mexico has not been in compliance with a bilateral air agreement since 2022, when it abruptly rescinded slots and then forced U.S. all cargo carriers to relocate operation in 2023. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in a country where you have rule and order, whenever there's a situation, if a government says today this international airport is not able to sustain the capacity of incoming flights, they can move those flights to different places. Yes, it's going to cause some extra strain on the airlines coming in, but ladies and gentlemen, it is that government's right, it is Mexico's right to decide on what they can do. It shouldn't be a problem to any administration. It hasn't been for a couple of years now, but this government comes into place and they want to shift and move things around. The Mexican Transport Ministry and major Mexican airlines, including Aeromexico, could not be immediately reached for comment. Duffy said Mexico was expected to complete construction to alleviate congestion at Mexico's Benito Juarez International Airport, but that has yet to materialize. So it turns out that these folks, the Mexican government, is actually trying to do this because it wants to complete construction. You are not to dictate to a country when to complete its construction. They are going to do that, and they should do that at their own time. But try to take action against the sovereign state because of its own internal decisions regarding its airlines, I think that is actually overreaching, and that is actually trying to be like an emperor. By restricting slots and mandating that all cargo operations move out of Mexico City, has broken its promise. What promise? Disrupted the market and left American businesses holding the bag of millions, increased cost. I understand that. But Trump is doing that. The American government has always done that to other countries. I don't see why when another country is doing the same thing, it becomes a problem. The USDOT, the U.S. Department of Transportation, also said it could take actions against European countries over limitation of airports. See, the whole world is standing up to this regime. We are monitoring European states to ensure that they apply the balanced approach process for noise abatement at their airports and do not implement unjust operational restrictions. Every country has the right to decide what they need to do. See, this is the thing with America, man. We always think that we need to control everybody around the world. It is not our place to go into a country and tell them what to do. It is that country's decision to actually decide on what is best for its people. Now, all of this to me is bullying and is actually acting like the world's emperor, to which America is not, and the Trump administration is not. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this vlog by asking you, what do you think? Do you think that the Mexican government is supposed to bow down to Trump's regime over this or over decision on how it deems fit to control its airspaces and airlines? I want you to hit that subscribe button. Do not forget, man. Help the platform grow. Stay blessed, folks.